Pharaoh did what only those accustomed to thinking themselves equal to the gods would dare. In anger, he hurled a spear into the Nile, not into a river, but into a symbol, not into water, but into the very order of the world. And almost instantly, retribution followed. Darkness, blindness, silence instead of power. When a ruler loses sight, it is not only the body that collapses, it is the illusion of control itself. The world that once seemed obedient suddenly turns foreign and hostile. The priests offered a remedy that sounded more like a sentence. His vision would return only if he washed with the touch of a woman who had known no one but her husband. An almost impossible condition. A demand for absolute purity in a world full of temptation, weakness, and hidden compromises. But Pharaoh remained calm. He had a wife. In his mind, that meant certainty, security, a simple, comfortable truth. Yet the tragedy of such stories is always built on a single detail. We rarely fear where we feel most certain. And there lies the tension of the legend, the moment when power confronts not enemies, not gods, but the reality of human nature.
The miracle did not happen. The queen was unfaithful. Pharaoh felt the last island of trust crumble beneath his feet. The world that had seemed obedient suddenly became alien. His power useless, because the foundation of any rule is trust, and trust proved rare and fragile like glass. He began to search across the entire kingdom. Cities, palaces, temples, hundreds of women went through his scrutiny. 100 faces, 100 stories, 100 lies. Every smile, every promise turned out to be an illusion. Loyalty became the rarest currency, more precious than gold, more valuable than gemstones. In a world of cheap illusions, it became almost impossible. The pharaoh realized that seeking truth meant looking not only at others, but at himself, at his weaknesses, at his expectations. For illusions feed on those who wish to believe convenient stories. And each new test deepened the emptiness. Each lie became a mirror, reflecting the fragility of power itself. Sometimes, the greatest battle is not on the battlefield, but in the heart of the one who rules. Sometimes betrayal reigns stronger than any throne. In this world, even a king learns to fear. Only one woman proved to be true. Not a queen, not a noble lady, not an ornament of palaces. A simple woman. It was her touch that restored the pharaoh's sight. The world regained its shape. The contours of power returned with the light. But with vision came something else, a cold clarity. Pharaoh understood the price of illusions. He took her as his wife, not as a reward, but as recognition of the rarest value. Loyalty, which neither wealth, nor status, nor the grandeur of the throne had been able to secure. And the remaining 99? He gathered them into a single settlement. It was not an outburst of rage, it was a decision. Power rarely forgives what it sees as a threat to order. Betrayal is not merely a ruler's personal drama. It is a fracture in the very structure of the world he is bound to preserve. Fire became the symbol, not of revenge, but of purification, not of cruelty,
but of deterrence, not of emotion, but of law made visible. The empire witnessed a lesson impossible to forget. Sometimes fear becomes the foundation of stability. Sometimes order demands brutal signs. Pharaoh cleansed his realm of betrayal forever. From that moment, all understood, a lie may blind a king, but retribution blinds generations. A brutal step, unquestionably. But in the logic of the ancient world, it had another name: selection. Not emotion, not an outburst of rage, but the radical elimination of what was seen as a threat to order. Today, such an approach sounds disturbing. The world has changed. Laws, morality, the structure of society, everything is different. Yet the psychological core of the story remains strikingly modern. Modern men often choose the opposite strategy. They look away from betrayal, from subtle disrespect, from the steady erosion of boundaries, not because they failed to see, but because they fear the consequences. The fear of loneliness has become stronger than the fear of losing dignity. Endurance replaces strength. Compromise becomes habit, and habit slowly dissolves the very foundation of respect. The problem is that ignored weakness does not disappear. It stabilizes. The pharaoh operated within a different system of values. His method was extreme, yet his logic was clear. A problem that is not confronted eventually becomes the norm. This story is not about cruelty. It is about boundaries, about the reality that every form of power, personal, social, internal, begins at the moment a person decides what they are willing to tolerate and where the line lies beyond which concessions turn into self-erasure.
You are not a ruler of Egypt. You have no throne, no army, no crown, but there is a territory you govern every single day, your life. And within it operate the same fundamental laws that do not age with time. Betrayal allowed into your inner circle does not merely wound, it distorts perception. You begin to doubt the obvious, justify what harms you, adapt to what slowly erodes you from within. This is true blindness, not the absence of sight, but the absence of firmness in decisions. A person unable to cut away what is destructive inevitably becomes a hostage to chaos. They tolerate what weakens them, explain what needs no explanation, postpone what demands immediate action, and gradually they lose the most critical asset: clarity. Boundaries are not cruelty, they are hygiene for reality. Those who cannot defend them do not become kinder or wiser, they become convenient. And convenient blindness always ends the same way, with the loss of control over one's own life.